Shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostle of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akiyam that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Adamada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. All right, so the topic of this lesson is about something called the medical mafia, which is out here in Las Vegas. So we're going to go ahead and read a little bit of this article. It's by Lansing Legal Examiner, the Lansing Injury Law News. So this was back in August 20th of 2009. So we're just going to read through it and then we're going to get some scripts. Okay, so as it says at the top here, Las Vegas lawyers and doctors go all in for fraud. Okay, so it says it's being alleged that beginning in 1999, a few doctors and lawyers in the Las Vegas area decided it would be a great idea to trump up accident-related injuries to increase the damages awarded to people injured in automobile accidents or bring false medical malpractice claims against innocent doctors. According to an indictment issued through the FBI and U.S. Attorney Gregory Brower, Dr. Mark Cabbins, Noel Gage, Howard Awan, and Dr. John Dalgett all conspired to falsify medical records, improperly refer in person to a personal injury attorney, and sue an innocent doctor in order to cover up the improper treatment by Dr. Cabbins and Talgett. If this is starting to sound like a John Grisham novel, things are just getting started. But before we get too far into the details of this case, I would like to make it clear that if it's true, the lawyers and doctors involved in this are awful people who have no business practicing law or medicine. The lawyers involved certainly acted unethically and did things I personally would never even think about, but they also do not represent the vast majority of lawyers who represent injured people. Lawyers who act in the manner alleged are not acting ethically. Excuse me for a second. I had to close my window. So, okay, and it says right here, so I'm going to read that part again. Lawyers who act in the manner alleged are not acting ethically. This is not the way most lawyers act, but like every profession, a few bad apples can spoil the impression people have of all lawyer, except of the course their own. Those attorneys make it easier for people to stereotype attorneys as sleazy. So I want to make it clear those attorneys are despicable and unprofessional. I want to do what I can to help keep the stereotype from spreading since it's false. An article on CNN Money sums up how the scheme alleged worked for the Las Vegas medical mafia. Okay. I'm going to read... In fact, let me go to this real fast. Once it pops up on screen here. Okay, so prosecutors say a group of top lawyers and doctors conspired to collect millions in inflated damages by pushing accident victims into dubious surgery. So we'll go right here. Let me see. All right, so here we go. Okay. It says Las Vegas fortune. It began as the most ordinary of fender benders. Cynthia Johnson, an office manager for a real estate company, was driving to work on Interstate 15 near the Las Vegas Strip when a fellow commuter clipped the rear bumper on her Toyota Avalon, propelling it into the truck in front. No one seemed hurt, and the drivers exchanged information. The accident on June 12th of 2002 might have been forgotten, but Johnson woke up the next day with back pain. She went to her regular doctor but was told that she'd have to pay all her treatment costs up front, since a car accident could result in lawsuits and her health insurance might not cover her. Worried about the cost, excuse me, she consulted a physician friend, who pledged to find someone to help her. No more than 30 minutes later, she got a call from a man named Howard Awan, who said she was in the business of handling such cases. Awan managed to get her an appointment that night with one of the busiest spine surgeons in the country, by the name of Mark Cabbins. After examining her, the surgeon referred her to several other doctors and said that Awan had also arranged for her to see one of the town's most prominent plaintiff's attorneys, Robert Vanna, all for a routine accident on the way to work. Johnson couldn't believe her luck. Better still, she didn't have to pay any money up front on her first visit to Vanna's office. She signed a medical lien. Such agreements mean injured parties pay nothing unless they collect a settlement. If that happens, the person holding the lien, which could be a plaintiff's lawyer, a doctor, or a hospital, is then paid from the settlement. Over the next 6 weeks, I had so many doctor's appointments that I couldn't keep up, recalls Johnson, who was grateful for the attention, but also confused by a directive from Vanna's office. Don't mention Howard Awan's name to anybody. As Johnson underwent cortisone injections and physical therapy, her pain began to ease, yet each time she saw Cabin, she says he urged her to undergo spinal surgery. The doctor asserted that if she didn't, her pain would be 20 times worse in 10 years, she recalls. So, and here's a picture of Howard Awan, who connected Johnson with an attorney and a surgeon, has so far fended off fraud and conspiracy charges. Okay. Meanwhile, her lawyer Vanna filed suit against the driver who hit Johnson, asking for a minimum of $200,000 in damages. Unbeknown to Vanna, the driver was a federal prosecutor who had been in his car on government business. This detail meant nothing to Johnson, but it would come to mean everything to her lawyer. Instead of facing a local defense attorney, Vanna was squaring off against Ruth Cohen, a seasoned lawyer in the U.S. Attorney's Civil Division. Almost immediately, Cohen sensed something strange. For a minor traffic accident, Johnson had seen no fewer than 8 doctors and racked up more than $40,000 in medical bills. Working late one Friday night, Cohen called a former colleague, William Turner, who was then managing attorney for the Las Vegas office of Farmers Insurance. As she described the case and listed the doctors involved, Turner interrupted, saying, "They're all connected to Awan." And this is the back surgeon right here, John Talgett, joined the medical mafia. My greedy voice said, "I'll do a few cases before leaving and becoming a government witness." Well, I tell you. Who? Cohen asked. She had never heard of the man, but she had stumbled into the middle of what prosecutors would later allege as was a massive conspiracy whose participants, witnesses told the FBI, dubbed themselves the medical mafia. Prosecutors charged that a group of top Las Vegas plaintiffs, lawyers, and doctors, with the 64-year-old Awan at its center, conspired in an audacious fraud. The participants appeared to act independently, but instead colluded. Unwitting accident victims were recruited as plaintiffs and then persuaded to undergo serious, sometimes needless surgeries. These procedures in turn helped inflate the size of personal injury claims. The result was multi-million-dollar insurance settlements, even for dubious cases, and lucrative fees for the doctors, the lawyers, and of course, Howard Awan. The alleged scheme began in 1999 and lasted for at least 6 years, prosecutors charged. Business and count records excuse me. Business and court records and local press reports suggest that a group, which numbered about 30, colluded in hundreds of suits that yielded hundreds of millions in settlements. According to government evidence, the group coordinated their testimony as expert witnesses, lied under oath, protected one another from malpractice lawsuits, even after the surgeons left a few patients paralyzed, and ate away at the plaintiff's settlement money with kickbacks disguised as contingency fees. For prosecutors, the alleged conspiracy was almost impossible to detect and maddeningly difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. After all, the process looked remarkably like an American-style justice, crusading plaintiffs' lawyers, forcing corporate deep pockets to pay big for injured clients. So far, Awen excuse me. So far, Awen and his associates have thwarted prosecutors. After 5 years of the FBI investigation, 3 indictments, a highly publicized trial, and testimony from 2 complicit surgeons given immunity, no one has been found guilty. Slack, I had to zoom in so you guys could see. No one has been found guilty. A judge dismissed indictments against Awen and one plaintiff's lawyer because a key witness wouldn't testify. The government is appealing the dismissal through prosecutors have declined to share information not already public while their investigation continues. The saga's details were gleaned from interviews with 40 people, including 2 admitted participants, and a review of thousands of pages of trial testimony and evidence, as well as non-public government records. Excuse me. For his part, Awen asserts his innocence and dismisses the medical mafia as non-existent. Cavins has also proclaimed his innocence, and Vanna, who has not been charged with anything by the government, says he has done nothing wrong. Vanna and others claim the real collusion in the case is between the prosecutors and the insurers. And Awen says that he has proof that he has been railroaded by the government, but adds, basically, my attorney has advised me not to say anything. The lawyer, Harlan Braun, calls the case against Awen totally phony and asserts that his client did nothing wrong. What the government paints as collusion, Braun says, was nothing more than cooperation among professionals. Because Awen was beating the insurance industry in court, the government concluded it must be a conspiracy, says Braun. What Awen did is level the playing field. Needless to say, the insurers see it in starkly different terms. As one executive puts it, this is a horror movie. In your wildest dreams, you've never seen anything like this. All right, so, this is, no. I mean, you could, I don't want to read too much of it, but, just basically going into a little bit of the background history of how the medical mafia works with this guy, Howard Awen, at the at the center of it. This man right here. Okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and get into the scriptures. So this is going to be the book of Isaiah. It's going to be chapter 10. Excuse me. Isaiah chapter 10. Verse 1. And it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay? Unrighteous decrees. Fraud. Malpractice. Charging people out, pretty much, just taking people's money rather than, actually helping. And we all know that doctors do this all the time, especially with cancer patients. People who have cancer, they put them through the thing called chemotherapy, which is which really pretty much does nothing but slowly but surely kill the person. Verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and they that may rob the fatherless. Okay, so this is Esau Edom. This is what Esau Edom does, man. He he commits fraud, rips people off, and says that everything's going to be all right. There's no need to worry about it. I got you, but he's not. You have to understand that Esau Edom is only looking out for his interests. He doesn't care about the interest of others. Hell, this man will screw his own people over. If the devil is not good to himself, how can he be good to anybody? Verse 3. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Exactly. So, all these ill-gotten gains, unrighteous dealings, in getting rich off, by screwing people over, being a con artist, where's this going to get you, Esau Edom? Where will you leave your glory? Where will you leave your fortune to when it all goes up in smoke? Okay, this is going to be the book of Sirach. Okay, let's see. Sirach chapter 10, starting at verse 8. And it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Unrighteous dealings, like I said, being fraud, or being a con artist, scam artist, injuries, grievousness, causing people grief, whether it be financially or medically, whatever the case. And riches gotten by deceit. And to be honest with you, lawyers, they just like doctors, they don't have their clients or their patients' interest at heart. They just care, all they care about is the money. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Yeah. And why is that? Why is the kingdom translated from one people to another? Well, the people are getting tired of you, Esau Edom. These people are fed up with your bullshit. Because all you do is take and take and take, lie, lie, and lie. You don't give anything in return. It's just you, you, you. So, your wickedness, it's reached that point where you've got to be taken out of the power seat. As the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's all you do, Esau Edom. You cause people grief. You like to make people's lives fucking miserable. But hey, you know what? That's okay. Because in the kingdom to come, we're going to make your lives a living hell. And guess what? The other heathen nations, not only are the Israelites going to be ruling over you and kicking your ass, but the other heathen nations are going to be doing it too. They're going to kick your ass too for all the hell that you put them through, for lying to them, leading them astray, fucking them over. All right, now we're going to go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 2. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. Proverbs 10 and 2. I'll read it again. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. So, your ill-gotten gains, it all comes back eventually to bite you in the ass, because you're just a greedy, selfish motherfucker. Now, and that's another thing too. In fact, let me get this one. This is in verse 3. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. Okay? So the Lord is on the side of the poor, the meek and the humble, those who are of a low estate, those who have nothing. And he's going to cast away the substance of the wicked, which means, since you've taken everything from everybody, Esau, Edom, the Lord's going to take everything away from you. And I'm going to drop down here to verse 15. The Proverbs 10 and 15. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. So, the rich man's wealth is his strong city. Esau, puts a lot of faith and trust and power into that paper. And all the stuff that he stole from everybody else. So, let me get the... Alright, this is going to be Obadiah. Obadiah, verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? Well, to the will and power and the courtesy of Yahweh by Shemar Shai, through his prophets, we're exposing you on a daily. And you Esau, Edom, you... In fact, let me keep reading down. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is not understanding in him. So, even these other nations can see that there is no reasoning with you. There is no reasoning with you, Esau, Edom. There's no reasoning with you, and they realize that they have no choice but to come together and take you down. But the Lord's going to use your own people. to do it. Verse 8, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Cut off by slaughter. That sounds real good to me. So yeah, after all that you've done, Esau, Edom, you have a lot to answer for. Okay? Like I said, I don't want to read too much of this, but you can, do a little bit of research for yourself. The whole medical mafia thing is still here today. Esau Edom he just found a way to be more, he just found a way to be a bit more crafty about it. And that's Esau Edom for you. Excuse me. But you can you can look up things about this stuff on the medical mafia in Las Vegas. I mean, I'm sure it's not just in Las Vegas; it's everywhere in the country. But this was the main story. So I hope that this was an edifying lesson. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Baith of Davidah, the elect house of David, that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom, Barakatah.